murdered someone?
I did.
Did you know the person?
No.
No?
No. I was driving one night. I saw a strange shape by the railway tracks, so I investigated, and it revealed to be a homeless person sleeping. Well, I presumed homeless, because he was there.
Okay.
So, I stabbed him to death.
Okay.
Then decapitated his head and hands and arms.
Okay.
It's Saturday, February 22nd, 2021, when 19-year-old Brian Cohee Jr. is driving under a highway overpass in Grand Junction, Colorado. In the dark, Cohee can't really make out what it is he sees on the side of the road, but he stops his vehicle and decides to go investigate. Upon close inspection, he comes across Warren Barnes, a 69-year-old homeless man. Cohee, who has been plagued with persistent thoughts of murder for over a year, realizes this is his perfect opportunity. Back at his car, he puts on 3 layers of gloves, he grabs a knife, and then he goes and proceeds to stab the much weaker elderly man to death. Later on, during his interrogation, Cohee ends up confessing to his crime and reliving it in astonishingly grotesque detail.
Yeah, it was the night of February 27th. It was a full moon. And I was driving along, and I see a shape here on the railway tracks. So I'm like, oh, interesting. So I go up, and as I'm looking, I see a large thing wrapped in a canvas.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a homeless person. So I grabbed my knife, I pulled back the canvas, and I stabbed his neck.
Okay.
He was panicking at first. In his old man voice, he was in his 50s. He was saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah! And I just kept on stabbing his neck. Is it okay if I do a demonstration?
Oh, yeah.
This is him. I was straddled on top of him like this.
Okay.
And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking a sweat. I thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy. And during the time, I was growling and making animalistic noises.
Why were you doing that?
I suppose it was a frenzy.
Okay.
I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline, and I was just, woo! And I paused, and he said, why are you doing this? And I said, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, murder someone. And then I continued. The whole ordeal lasted about a minute and a half.
Okay.
Cohee would estimate it was roughly 11 p.m. when he finished stabbing Barnes. At this time, he cuts off Barnes' head and hands, puts them in plastic bags, and takes them back home with him, leaving the rest of the body at the scene. Once back at his parents' house, Cohee attempts to clean up. He washes his clothes, his car, and the bloody knife. Next, he attempts to fall asleep, but he's bothered by thoughts that he may have accidentally left too much DNA back at the scene. And so for the second time that night, a little prior to 1 a.m., Cohee gets in his car and drives back to the overpass on Highway 340. Cohee would find Warren Barnes' body surprisingly heavy as he worked to hoist it into his car, after which he took a few photographs of the corpse prior to finally disposing of it in the Colorado River. Although it might be hard to peg the teen boy for a killer strictly based on his looks alone, it's hard to say that the red flags weren't there altogether.
My parents found a kit I had been assembling. It had hammers, shovels, knives, large zip ties, duct tape, saw. I was meant for hurting people. They found it though.
Prior to his attack on Barnes, Cohee was known on occasion to kill and dismember animals. He would recall one time in particular when he had kept a cat's severed head in the house for 3 days before at last disposing of it.
So I herded the cat into the sleeping bag and beat it and strangled it and snapped its neck with a large, heavy airsoft gun. It's metal, so it's heavy.
I was so excited in a good way, thrilled, high on homicide, you would say. Oftentimes over the next few hours, I would feel its warmth and play with the limp body.
I then decapitated the cat, hit the body in a shoebox, hit the head in a wine cork box. I kept it for 3 days, then it started to stink. And then I disposed both in the trash and got away with it.
And then there was high school. where his open fascination with the notorious killer cannibal Jeffrey Dahmer would earn him the nickname Dahmer among classmates.
So my nickname in high school was Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay.
I had a reputation that I would become a serial killer.
Okay. Why did you get that reputation?
Because of how off-putting I was. In school I was not social. I didn't like anyone. I would purposefully make offensive, crass, rude comments just to get a rise out of people.
Okay.
Just to ruffle their feathers.
What do you remember about Brian?
Not much. Just I remember there was like a notebook that had some obviously concerning stuff talking about like serial killer statistics and stuff. Like he seemed to be kind of enamored with that.
So famous serial killers, some information about
Yeah,
them,
like
yeah.
kill counts and just stuff like that.
Okay.
Like, that's not entirely normal, you know.
He'd make comments about the Holocaust, you know, wildly inappropriate all the time. He always looked for shock. He fed on that negative attention. I felt like he was bottling up a lot of dissatisfaction. Because, like, he was a really smart kid, very academically brilliant, but he was a little bit of a social outcast.
Once in custody, he would tell the police that up until murdering Warren Barnes, he'd made a habit of driving around at night with the purpose of scoping out homeless encampments. His ideal victim would be a homeless person or a prostitute, he told detectives. This was due to the belief that certain people's disappearances had a greater likelihood of going unnoticed.
This is not to be taken offense, but police, they don't seem to care as much about high-risk individuals, homeless people, prostitutes, etc. So I was deliberately looking for someone who lived that type of life.
Except that when it came to Warren Barnes, the kid couldn't have been more wrong.
When I found out that he was murdered, it really hit hard. And I know I had a hard time just knowing how he passed.
Barnes, it turned out, was well known and liked in the downtown Grand Junction area. The local store owners had nicknamed him the Reading Man due to his love for reading books. Those who encountered him knew him as a gentle and quiet man. He had forged an especially close relationship to the owners of Monique's Bridal, where daily he would sit outside in the same chair, always engrossed in a book. In fact, after Barnes had been killed by Cohee, his disappearance had been reported right away.
Hi, yes, I was just wondering if you could tell me who I could possibly talk to about filing maybe a report on someone that hasn't been seen for a couple of days.
Okay. Are you needing to file like a missing persons report?
I think so.
When he didn't show up for work, something highly out of character for the man who had, despite his troubles, managed to keep the same job for the last 4 years, his employer phoned the owner of Monique's to ask if she knew of his whereabouts. And when Barnes didn't show up for his daily reading session at Monique's either, law enforcement was immediately alerted.
How do you know Warren?
I own Monique's Bridal downtown, and I give him a chair to sit and read his books.
So every morning it's around 6?
Yeah.
Without fail?
Without fail.
7 days a week?
Yes. He is there every morning. And he's the nicest guy ever. Rough looking, but he is the nicest guy.
But ultimately, it was Cohee's mother that would come across the smoking gun. The discovery would be reported to 911 dispatchers at 1:48 p.m. on March 1st, 2021, and it would send cops rushing over to the Cohee family residence.
911 is John. What's the address emergency?
Hi, there is an emergency. I found something in my son's closet wrapped in a plastic bag.
Okay, what was it?
I think it's a human head.
It's a what?
I think it's a human head.
Why do you think it's that?
Because it looks like it's all an ear.
Is it bloody or does it like anything like that?
I just told you to come. That's why I had to take a picture and send it to you.
What's the address? Is your son there now?
He just pulled up. We wanted to make sure he was here before we called.
How old is he?
19. He's had a little bit of a fascination with the morbid, but he was channeling it, I thought, into becoming a crime scene investigator, but not so much.
Do you think he's going to be cooperative with us?
I don't know. I don't think he'll be violent. Just came back from his friend's house.
Does he have any weapons in his room, or do you guys have any in the house?
I don't know. I think that he has a shotgun, but we can certainly remove it immediately before he gets in his room. He's out by the car now, so.
Is the bag still in the closet?
No, it's in my kitchen sink. And there's a secondary bag that I have not opened.
What's going on, man? Okay, so parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
Like, for real human head and hands?
Yes.
From?
That fellow who went missing recently.
Which fellow was that?
Warren Brown.
Warren Brown? When did he go missing?
The night of the 27th.
The night of the 27th? Okay, and how did you end up with him?
I murdered him.
With what?
A knife.
Why would you have done that?
I've always wondered what murder felt like.
Brian Cohee Jr. was quickly placed under arrest, and once he was at the station, he would make his confession official, while proving himself very forthcoming about all details surrounding the grisly murder.
Oh, yeah, you might want to call investigations. So, oh yeah, he already, I asked him what was going on, he said, I killed a guy. I stabbed him, that's his head. I dumped his body in the river. So I guess this guy's name is like Warren Brown or something. So, all right, I'm gonna secure the house. And he said there should be hands and the head's in the sink. The body is in the river. So, what's that? Oh, does it sound by my voice that it looks real? It is.
The 19-year-old's demeanor would remain oddly excited throughout his interview with investigators. In fact, the interrogation is a somewhat sickening thing to observe. At no point does Cohee display even the slightest shred of remorse for what he did. And oftentimes during the interrogation, he would even ask investigators for permission to reenact his deadly attack against Barnes, almost as if he felt some kind of twisted pride or pleasure in reliving the atrocious acts he'd committed just the other night.
When I was finished stabbing him, he took out his last breath, a grunt. After I killed him, I just couldn't stop saying, sticky, dirty, dirty. And I wasn't smelling anything, but...
Then why would you say that?
I don't know.
Okay.
And then, after that, I stripped his clothes. I cut open his belly to see his guts. They're really pink. Sorry, that was morbid. And then I cut off his head. I gave him a Glasgow smile. What's that? A Joker smile. I destroyed his eyes by stabbing them.
Okay.
And then I cut off his hands. I put those in plastic Ziploc bags. And then I cut off his right arm at this joint, and at this joint. And then, at this arm, I tried cutting it here, and then I tried cutting it here, but what happened was, I accidentally broke his bone. This one, it was poking out, and so I left that one here, partially cut, dismembered here, bone sticking out. And then I left his body there. And then I took the head, put it in a leftover box from the dinner a few nights ago. And then I took the hands, put them in the back, drove home, hid the hands and head in my room.
It's right here. Yeah. Because there's an arm. Hey. There's an arm, there's another arm. There's another one.
This is like something out of TV.
Yeah. Just having a discussion with the deputy chief about how these kids don't have any
One of the things that makes Brian the scariest, a type of person, is that he found this easy to do and admits that.
I tossed the armpits around. Like I took the right armpit, threw it out, and then took the left armpit, threw it out.
A whip somewhere around that bridge?
Yeah.
Right, here's a leg. Well, it could be the upper arm or a leg.
Well, there's 3. There, and there.
But if we can get the lab out here, that would be the best thing.
Yeah, get forensics out here.
Cohee's trial lasted for 12 days. Stunningly enough, he would enter a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. Prior to the murder of Warren Barnes, Cohee had already received several diagnoses. These included ADHD, autism, and major depressive disorder. At trial, his attorney's flimsy argument was that these diagnoses had made it so that Cohee didn't know right from wrong. Fortunately, the jury didn't buy the sorry defense, and so, after 2 days of deliberation, they returned a verdict of guilty on the charge of first-degree murder.
What did it feel like?
It was intense. It was a rush of adrenaline. It wasn't fear, it was just pure, what's the word, excitement, I suppose? Not excitement as in joy, just excitement as in increased heartbeat.
Did you enjoy it or not enjoy it?
Did I enjoy it? I don't know. Sort of neutral of the whole thing.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't hate it.
What did you think it was going to feel like?
I thought it would be the best feeling in the world.
Cohee was sentenced to life in prison, plus 13.5 years, with no chance of parole. The presiding judge said that the crime was one of the most horrific cases he had ever seen. Cohee currently remains at the Buena Vista Correctional Complex, where he is scheduled to remain for the rest of his natural life. In the meantime, in front of a shop in downtown Grand Junction, Warren Barnes remains deeply missed.
I would have been very careful because I would have been worried at any moment this could become a cold case and then it could be solved later on down the line. So I probably would have done it again because that was just to see what it felt like and if I had gotten away with it.